Hello everyone, welcome back. Let us continue with visible surface detection. In the previous video, we discussed about the basic concepts of visible surface detection and one of the technique backface detection. In this video, we will be discussing the remaining types of visible surface detection. As I told you in the previous video, visible surface detection is whatever we can able to see that has to be detected. We can classify it into two types, object-based and image-based method. The different techniques of visible surface detection are backface detection, depth buffer method, buffer method, scanline method. We have seen backface detection method in the previous video. Next type is depth buffer method. It is most commonly used method and also image space method. This technique was proposed by Cartman. At each pixel position compass surface depths on projection plane. Here depth refers the z-axis. So this method is also known as z-buffer method. In this diagram, there are three objects are located one over another. Suppose if we are using backface detection method for detecting the surface, we can able to detect the backside of the object. But in the depth buffer method, we can see each object separately one point at a time. Here COP is a center of point or center of projections. We are viewing through this direction. The depth buffer algorithm can be implemented in normalized coordinates and also it requires two buffer areas. One is depth buffer and another one is refresh buffer. A depth buffer is used to store depth values for each xy position in the surface. That is, depth value refers z axis value. The refresh buffer stores intensity value for each position. Intensity refers the numerical value for the pixel. This is an algorithm for depth buffer method. First step is initialize the buffer values. Depth buffer is initialized by 0, frame buffer is initialized by background color. The next step is process each polygon one at a time. In this diagram there are three objects. We have to process one at a time. No need to bother about the processing order, but we have to process one at a time. Each object consists of more pixels. So for each pixels we have to calculate the depth value z. So we are using for loop. So for each and every pixel xy pixel position we have to calculate the depth value z. Then if z is greater than depth buffer, compute the surface color. Then update the buffer values. Depth buffer is changed from 0 to z and frame buffer is changed from background color to surface color. Here I listed some advantage and disadvantage of depth buffer method. The advantages are it is easy to implement and if implemented in hardware the processing speed is very high. The last one is process one object at a time so that we can able to all the surfaces of an object. The disadvantages are it requires a large memory and also time consuming process because process of each object one at a time. Next technique is a buffer method. It is an extension of depth buffer method. The air buffer method represents an anti-aliased, area average and accumulation buffer method. It's developed by Lukofin for implementation in the surface rendering system called REAS. REAS means renders everything you ever saw. That is, it can be able to deal with all types of surfaces. But depth buffer method only deals with opaque surfaces. To overcome the drawback of depth buffer method, in a buffer method, each portion in the buffer can reference a linked list of surfaces. There are two fields in a buffer pixel positions, depth field and intensity field. The depth field stores positive or negative real numbers. An intensity field can store surface intensity information or pointer to the linked list of surfaces. If the value of depth field is positive, that is greater than 0, the number stored at that position is the depth. That is, it contains only one surface. The intensity field stores the RGB. This diagram shows this information. If the depth field is negative, that is less than 0, this indicates multiple surface contributions to the pixel intensity. That is, it overlaps by multiple surfaces. The intensity field then stores the pointer to the linked list of surface data. See this diagram, the intensity field stores the pointer to the next surface data. In the previous diagram, we used linked list. In that linked list, intensity field can include the following data: RGB intensity components, opacity parameter, depth value, percentage of average coverage, surface identifier, other surface rendering parameters, and pointer to the next surface. This is an example of a buffer method. There are 6 surfaces marked here. Each surface color depends on the overlapping surface color. Here, one contains only single surface, so red is the output. Here, 2 contains 2 surfaces, so red and green. Suppose 6 contains 3 surfaces, so red, green, blue. Last one is scanline method. It is an image space method and also extension of 2D polygon filling algorithm. In 2D polygon filling algorithm, what will we do? First, find the intersection of scanline. Similarly, here also we are deducting the intersection point while scanline is processed from left to right. Intersection point helps to determine which surfaces are visible. After deducting visible surfaces, the intensity value for that position is entered into the refresh buffer. For implementing this method, we are using 3 tables: edge table, active edge table, polygon table. Edge table stores the following values, that is, endpoints for each line in the scene, inverse slope of each line, and pointed into the polygon table to identify the surfaces bounded by each line. Active edge table stores an active list of edges that will be taken from edge table. See the first diagram over here. Active edge table entries for scanline 1 is AB, BC, EH, FG. For scanline 2, AD, EH, BC, FG. Then polygon table stores the following information: coefficients of the plane equation for each surface, intensity information for the surfaces, possibly pointers into the edge table. See the last diagram over here. This shows the data structure for each table. Edge table, polygon table, AET means active edge table. One more thing we are using here is flag. The flag will be set either on or off to indicate whether position along the scan line is inside or outside of the surface. Scan lines are processed from left to right. At the leftmost boundary of a surface, the surface flag is turned on. When reached at rightmost boundary, it will be turned off. See the example over here. Active edges for scanline 1 is AB, BC, EH and FG. From these, AB and BC are located only inside S1 surface. So, flag for S1 is on. In this case, no overlapping occurred. So, no need to process the depth calculation. For scanline 2, active edges are AD, EH, BC, FG. Between edges AD and FG, no overlapping. In this case, flag for surface S1 is on. But between edges EH and BC, the flags for both surfaces are on. So in this case, overlapping occurred. So depth calculation must be made using the plane coefficients for the two surfaces. When calculating the depth value, whose depth value is smaller, the intensity of that surface will be stored in the reference buffer. In this case, the depth surface S1 is assumed to be less than S2. So intensity for surface S1 is loaded into the reference buffer. Repeat this process for all scan lines. Any number of overlapping polygon surfaces can be processed with this scan line method. I hope this video will be useful. Thank you for watching.